Right.
Why is it a hard industry to get into? Because there's no real formal training for it, or because it, why? Why is it so hard to get into?
Well, talking about LA, Los Angeles, you have a lot of makeup artists in the industry. There's a lot of competition, yes. And it's very hard to get into because it's governed with a union. And the only way you really can get into it is you have to go over there and make yourself available on a freelance.
Did you make up little cards for yourself and go out calling on the different studios?
Right.
You did things like that?
Exactly. And if some of the makeup artists were, let's say, ill or had to leave town or on location, they then would call the freelancers, which would be me.
So you'd be like on a list, and you'd almost have to wait until
That's right.
something bad happened to somebody
That's right.
else so that you could like get the foot in the door.
Right.
And then did you have to become a union member eventually?
No. I can still freelance and keep it that way for about as long as I want, unless I get into a full-time scale operation, and then I'd be required to be unionized in LA.
So if you go to work for a special studio and become like on their payroll, then you have to be a union member.
Right.
But if you stay as an independent artist, as you yourself are,
then
you can fill in.
And do small things with LA, which is the only way to really break into it.
Can you make enough money as an independent makeup artist to facilitate a living, would you say?
Yes. There's no question about it. Again, we're talking about the West Coast.
How to decide on what shading to use?
Well, what you try to do, especially if you're working in situations like this with a lot of lighting on the sets.
A lot of light.
You have to take that into consideration to know how much makeup you want to put on and what you want to do with your contour and your lighting. Get the base makeup as close as you can to your skin color.
To the skin color?
Right. That's what you want to start working with. And then you work with your shading and your lighting actually before the foundation goes on.
Before? Why is that?
Before, because your foundation is your final cover, full face cover. And it is somewhat transparent, so it will allow the dark and the light accents on your face to come through the basic foundation. So it's like hidden lighting within our makeup.
So you want to explain what else you did besides the foundation too?
Well then, after you accent and shade, you put lighting, various shades like eye coloring.
You want to explain where you put this?
Both in this section here.
Okay, in the outer area there.
In the outer areas of the eyelid.
Okay.
On both sides.
On the eyebrows.
Right. And up in the temple areas. This brings in your face, makes it narrow, as well as you can dap it. In this type of industry with the foundation going over the eyes, you have to use a mascara back on the eyelashes to bring your color out. And the eyeliner allows the color of your eyes to come out, and it opens your eyes up.
I see. If you were, now you've achieved with a lot of makeup just a fairly natural look. What else would you do to a man if he were like in a period piece to bring it out even more? You'd have to do something totally different then, wouldn't you? Would the colors be different?
A period?
Well, say 14th, 15th century when they wore...
Oh, you mean like if it was for film?
Right, like for Mozart.
Yeah, what you do is you gather your information of what type of character you want. Makeup is just like painting, and you just create your character with makeup. So if it requires, if his coloring required more coloring, then you would put more makeup on in those areas. Whatever you needed done, if you needed the eyes larger, you would accent the eyes, make them larger, draw them larger. Right now I have my eyeliner at the very top of my eyelid. It doesn't say that I can't draw the eye a 1/4 inch down below the eyelid and enlarge the eye.
It just seems like there are just so many things that you could do, and I'm thinking even today in the entertainment industry, makeup seems to be a central issue. When you think about Cyndi Lauper and Madonna and Boy George, where would they be without their makeup?
That's right. The makeup in this case with a lot of the singer performers, it has created the character, and they've been allowed to maintain a theme so that you can continually see these people and you recognize them, and it's primarily due to the makeup. You take the makeup off and put them in the middle of the street, and you probably wouldn't even know who they are.
Might have an average performer, but nothing like what we have
and
today.
this has went on now. It's becoming very popular, but it's going on for about 10 years
hear about
now.
makeup taking to make the stars take hours, and I guess this is why.
Yes.
There can be a very lot.
Oftentimes they start at 4 in the morning and they don't start filming until 10.
Do artists and do actors and actresses, do they like being made up? Does it vary in their personalities? Are they nice to you? Do they yell at you? What did you find the temperament of the actors and actresses to be when you worked in Hollywood?
Well, it's a situation where we all have to work together. Everybody working together makes...
Yesterday on the radio, I was listening to a talk show, and I heard a psychologist say that we should all think of ourselves as an artist and our lives as a canvas on which we make up our own artistry, which I thought was very beautiful. And It's been beautiful having you. Thank you very much.
Thank
you, everyone. Hope we see you again.